Senator Durbin.
Okay. Thank you, Judge. I know it's been a long day, and we'll try to keep it moving here. I think you're one senator after me away from taking a break. My problem, quite frankly, is that, as Senator Schumer indicated, the cases that you've been involved in, to me, are left of center, but not anything that jumps out at me, but the speeches really do. I mean, the speech you gave to the ACLU about foreign law, we'll talk about that probably in the next round, was pretty disturbing. And keep talking about these speeches, because what I'm trying, and I listened to you today, I think I'm listening to Judge Roberts. I mean, I'm listening to a strict constructionist here. So we got to reconcile in our own minds here to put the puzzle together to go that last mile. Is that you got Judge Sotomayor, who has come a long way and done a lot of things that every American should be proud of. You've got a judge who has been on a circuit court for 12 years. Some of the things trouble me, but generally speaking, left of center, but within the mainstream. And you have these speeches that just blow me away. Don't become a speechwriter if this law thing doesn't work out, because these speeches really throw a wrinkle into everything. And that's what we're trying to figure out. Who are we getting here? You know, who are we getting as a nation? Now, legal realism, are you familiar with that term?
I am.
What does it mean for someone who may be watching the hearing?
To me, it means that you are guided in reaching decisions in law by the realism of the situation, of it's less, it looks at the law through the...
It's kind of touchy-feely stuff.
It's not quite words that I would use, because there are many academics and judges who have talked about being legal realists. I don't apply that label to myself at all. As I said, I look at law and precedent and discern its principles and apply it to the situation.
So you would not be a disciple of the legal realism school?
No.
Okay. All right. Would you be considered a strict constructionist in your own mind?
I don't use labels to describe what I do. There's been much discussion today about what various labels mean and don't mean. Each person uses those labels and gives it their own sense of
when Judge Rehnquist says he was a strict constructionist, did you know what he was talking about?
I think I understood what he was referencing, but his use is not how I go about looking at...
What does strict constructionism mean to you?
Well, it means that you look at the Constitution as it's written, or statutes as they're written, and you apply them exactly by the words.
Right. Would you be an originalist?
Again, I don't use labels.
Okay.
And because...
What is an originalist?
In my understanding, an originalist is someone who looks at what the founding fathers intended and what the situation confronting them was, and you use that to determine every situation presented, not every, but most situations presented by the Constitution.
Do you believe the Constitution is a living, breathing, evolving document?
The Constitution is a document that is immutable to the sense that it's lasted 200 years. The Constitution has not changed except by amendment. It is a process, the amendment process, that is set forth in the document. It doesn't live other than to be timeless by the expression of what it says. What changes is society. What changes is what facts a judge may get presented.
What's the best way for society to change, generally speaking? What's the most legitimate way for society to change?
I don't know if I can use the words change. Society changes because there's been new developments in technology, medicine, in society growing.
Do you think
There's
judges have changed society by some of the landmark decisions in the last 40 years?
Well, in the last few years?
40 years.
I'm sorry, you said the...
40, I'm sorry, 40, 40. Do you think Roe v. Wade changed American society?
Roe versus Wade looked at the Constitution and decided that the Constitution, as applied to a claimed right, applied.
Is there anything in the Constitution that says a state legislator or the Congress cannot regulate abortion or the definition of life in the first trimester?
The holding of the court as...
I'm asking the Constitution. Does the Constitution as written prohibit a legislative body at the state or federal level from defining life or regulating the rights of the unborn or protecting the rights of the unborn in the first trimester?
The Constitution in the 14th Amendment has a...
I'm sorry, is there anything in the document written about abortion?
The word abortion is not used in the Constitution, but the Constitution does have a broad provision concerning a liberty provision under the due process.
And that gets us to the speeches. That broad provision of the Constitution has taken us from no written prohibition protecting the unborn, no written statement that you can't voluntarily pray in school, and on and on and on and on. And that's what drives us here, quite frankly. That's my concern. And when we talk about balls and strikes, maybe that's not the right way to talk about it, but a lot of us feel that the best way to change society is to go to the ballot box, elect someone, and if they're not doing it right, get rid of them through the electoral process. And a lot of us are concerned, from the left and the right, that unelected judges are very quick to change society in a way that's disturbing. Can you understand how people may feel that way?
Certainly, sir.
Okay. Now,